Well, LG's smartwatch is here. It was built in collaboration with Google, but does it live up to the hype? Jeff Bakalar is the host of CNET's longest-running podcast, The 404 Show. Jeff, so LG's thin new smartwatch is getting some bad reviews. What's going on?
Yeah, people aren't really in love with it, but I don't necessarily think it's the fault of the watch itself. I just think people are not really getting on board with smartwatches. What LG did with their new watch and the new version of Android Wear 2.0, it's a better, more logically laid out design. It offers a lot of features. It's pretty much, their higher end one is pretty much a self-contained mobile device. It doesn't need to be tethered to a phone to use the internet or do anything like that. But I think the big hang up with a lot of critics and reviewers is that it just doesn't really marry your sort of like desire for technology all together in one piece of gadgetry. And I think this might be the beginning of the end. Maybe it's premature, but this could be the beginning of the end of a pretty significant dearth in smartwatches.
Oh, that's interesting that you say that. LG also has released their sport version of its watch style. What's the difference between the two?
So the only real big difference I think they're $100 in difference. The Sport is not going to do, I'm sorry, the lesser model is not going to do everything the higher end one does with connecting to the internet and being a self-contained sort of mobile device in itself. And if you just want the sort of, sleeker looking one, you can go with the lesser model. But if you really want to spend that money on something that's going to let you have a smartwatch without the need for a cell phone, which is probably the biggest criticism people have about the Apple Watch, well, then you just spend $100 more for that more expensive model.
Okay, and Jeff, CNET just published another article as part of its Complicated series called Here's Why Tech Has Taken Over Our Relationships. And the author writes here, for past generations, relationship milestones meant things like going steady. Today's relationships can strike up after a few minutes of text chat. What is going on? What's this about?
Well, I think what's going on is that we are living in a world right now where people don't have the time or don't think they have the time to nurture and sort of cultivate an actual face-to-face relationship. There's a lot of critics who say that's terrible and that's really bad for humanity and what it means to interact. And yeah, there's some probable validity to saying something like that, but at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that people are finding different ways to meet and interact and form relationships. Just how you sort of play shift a lot of the analog tasks in your life to your phone, to things in the cloud. We are, as a society, are slowly but surely shifting our love life and our sort of like, ascension into a romantic relationship. We're kind of pushing that off into the internet, and for some people it works great. I think for a lot of people though, it's a kind of treacherous sea to navigate.
Yeah, I'm glad that I settled down before the era of Tinder and
I am too.
else.
I don't want to tell anybody, but I'm so glad I don't have to deal with Tinder. It's awesome.
The folks here are saying I wouldn't qualify for Tinder, but that's another story. Just want you to know I always swipe right when it comes to you, Jeff.
Oh, that's very nice.
Bakalar, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.